How's it going, everybody? My name is Philip, and today we're going to be reacting to USA versus Europe, a guide to cultural differences. I feel like the number one thing that I can think of off the top of my head is that our taxes are not always implemented straight into the final price, into the advertised price, because it makes no fucking sense. I never understood it. I get that we have different kind of taxes in different states and everything, but still, like, why can't that just be implemented in the tax? If it says $5, that should be $4.85 plus tax, which makes it $5. Or if it's $5, then add the tax to it to make it $5.50 or something. You know, at least that way it's like, oh, the original price is $5.50, the tax is added, full price is going to be, ba-bam, $5.50. Like, I don't know how that's so difficult. Another thing is, I'm pretty sure that tipping at restaurants is also a big no-no. Or it's seen as kind of, I don't know if that's seen as disrespectful, but it's definitely different here in the US than in Europe, I believe. I don't know how big of a difference that it is. I do know that especially because my brother worked in literally a bunch of different restaurants. He's worked in 3-4 different restaurants, I think. But anyways, they literally lived off of tips. And if you don't tip, then they're just like, they start thinking to themselves, did I do something wrong? What did I do that was so bad that they didn't tip? Not even $1, you know? It's just kind of ridiculous that they can't get paid a living wage. It's a lot of politics, I think, here, and that's the problem. But I'm definitely interested to see some of the cultural differences, at least according to this YouTuber here. So let's check it out.
Hey there, we are guides from Prague, Czech Republic, and this is one of our favorite pubs. But somebody just recently left a nasty review complaining about the fact that the waiter simply asked them, "You want a beer?" The waiter brought the beer, and then once the person was finished, they brought another beer, and this guy was complaining about it. What is he talking about? That's the best thing. Once you're finished with your beer, they bring another one. So for me,
is that a
from
true
the
story?
perspective of a Czech European, that's a good sign. For an American, that may be kind of weird or rude. So today we want to talk about cultural differences between our country, our city, and United States of America.
Wait, why would that be seen as rude or wrong or bad? If I'm done with my drink, I would want another one, unless I'm leaving. Who gets pissed off about that? Is that true? I feel like that is, because I feel like Americans, there's a lot of things that happen here in the US that I'm like, what? How is that? Again, I don't know. I mean, okay, I guess every time I've gone out, every time they always ask, would you like more? Would you like another? Would you, blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, yes, please. Thank you. Still, I don't, yeah.
First of all, you may be surprised what the beer looks like. Well, we have a video dedicated only to that. And second, when I walked in, I didn't look at a beer menu or something that may be quite common in the United States, where you have different beers on tap. Most pubs and restaurants in Czech Republic will have one brewery on tap in the pub. So that's why you can walk in and just say, I'll have one. So I kind of like that. You walk into a pub and you don't have a million choices. You just say,
we like choices, though.
In the US, not only you have a choice of beers that are on tap, quite often there's 5, 10, 20, but also they will ask you, do you want draft or bottle? What kind of question is that? The reason you go to a pub is to get beer on tap, to get draft beer. If you want bottled beer, you go to a supermarket. So for us, that's a big cultural difference that quite often we don't understand. Now, a beer here costs 55 crowns. Let's call that $2.50 to round it up. If you go to a stadium, to a sports event here in Prague, it's going to cost around $3. Well, nothing like that in the US. If you go to a pub, it may cost $5, $6. And you go to a stadium, and it can cost $10, $15, even $20. Honza hates it. Whenever he goes to a sports event, he's always shocked with the price of the beer. I myself, when I travel to US, I usually don't go to sports events, but I like amusement parks. And just recently, I visited Universal Studios.
Okay.
It was the most expensive beer I ever had in my life. $15. I
Damn.
could not believe it. Now, I understand that going to amusement park, you don't go there for beer, you go there for the rides, but still $15? Dude, it was insane. Why did I do that? Also, fun fact, I did not take a picture of the beer, but I did take a picture of the receipt. Now, the price of the beer, as I said at the amusement park, was $15, but I was asked to pay more than $16. Why? It said 15. Well, tax was not included.
That pisses me off. But one thing I will say, which is why I pause it here, like for Universal Studios, I know at least here in the, I don't know why I'm saying it here in the US. I don't know. Are there other Universal Studios? For some reason, I'm thinking kind of like how Disneyland has Euro Disney and Shanghai and whatnot. Anyways, because I know that there's, you know, Universal Studios here in LA and then out in Florida, but I'm pretty sure that's just an American thing. But I know that we have the Harry Potter worlds here. So I guess paying a little bit more for like, well, what's the beer that is it like the butter beer or something like that in the Harry Potter world? That like I guess if it's like custom beers made for Harry Potter type of stuff, I guess. But I still feel like $15 is way too much, even for a custom beer like that. Like it's kind of ridiculous, right? But and taxes again, I've already said it. Taxes make no sense to me. Just include it altogether.
What is this about? We go to a place, and I'm not only talking restaurants, but any store, shop, and the price tag is the final price you pay. It says 55 here, it's gonna cost 55. They include the tax. Why don't you do that in US? It's just sad.
Even if it is different in each
I'm 11
state.
years old, I have my
just
first dollar ever, and I walk into a dollar
include
store looking forward to buy something for $1. I pick up the item, go to the register, $1.50. What? It's a dollar store. Everything costs $1, not dollar store plus tax.
Not necessarily, but okay, yeah.
Now let's switch from drinks to food. In any
And I say that, okay, and I say that because my mom occasionally goes to the dollar store for some cheap school supplies. Because, you know, I don't know if it's different than in Europe as well, if this is also something that's different, but I feel like it is. But, you know, teachers have to pay for their own school supplies. They always have to go find folder, or my mom at least, always has to find specific folders that has certain whatever, and she needs to get like 30 of them. And a lot of the times, you know, they might be a little bit less than $1, but not everything necessarily costs $1 in the dollar store, which makes no sense. You know, sometimes there's something in there that's like $2.50 plus tax. You know, but like there's always little things that doesn't always just, not everything's just a $1, even though it is called a dollar store. But yeah.
place you can get some food, right? Mostly you pick something from the menu and no further questions will be asked. Well, in US, quite often they will ask you how you want it customized. Do you want bacon? Do you want that cheese? Do you want this cheese? Do you want this or that and that? It gets quite confusing for us. And you can imagine me being 11 years old in US, in New Jersey, first walking to a restaurant, ordering a burger, very much looking forward to it. And they asked me, how do you want your burger done? I said, I don't know, very well done. Thinking that they would make it completely.
Medium well is always
the
easy way to go.
Brought this black piece of meat that was unedible. And
I've never heard McDonald's ask that either, though.
Now, to be fair, if you go to a restaurant in Prague nowadays and you will have a burger, they will ask you how you want it done. But once again, the fact that you can customize anything at a restaurant in
We
US
like options.
is very uncommon for us here. So if you come to a pub or a restaurant in Czech Republic, don't expect that you can customize every single item on the menu.
That's also why we're so
there's a
fat,
menu with things
you know?
that you pick from. I really hope we didn't lose our subscribers from United States. We love you guys. So to say something that we consider to be amazing in US that we don't have here is water. Free water at a restaurant, at a bar, anywhere. You sit down at a table and in US, you get a glass of water. Never happens in the Czech Republic, ever.
That's
Not
interesting.
only that, if you ask for tap water, quite often they will say, no, we don't serve tap water. and you will get a tiny little bottle of water that you will pay for $2, $3, $4. It's ridiculous.
Okay.
I know a restaurant where I go to, and I will always say, can I get tap water? And they're like, no, we can't do that. We can only sell you a bottle. And I quite often say, I'll pay you the same price that I'll pay for the bottle for tap water. Like, no, we can't do that. Crazy. Why did we...
Okay, so one thing I'm curious about with that one is, so I know like in different places, necessarily not just in the U.S., but like if I go to Mexico, obviously I'm not going to drink the tap water, right? So I wonder if it's somewhat similar where like, whether it's the filtration system or whether it's something completely different that they don't want to release to the public, you know, just don't drink the tap water type of thing, you know? Because I know that I heard something, I feel like it was in Michigan, where I know this was different because it was in a lake, and there's like tiny microscopic, there's like a microscopic, not necessarily parasite, but there's something in the water up there that, you know, can get into areas, and it wasn't good at all, and it got into like the taps. I think I heard it got into like the tap water system, and for a while they couldn't drink the tap water. You know, so I'm wondering if there's something similar to that, or what exactly, like why they couldn't just give someone tap water, right? So yeah, that's yeah.
Now let's talk about service in restaurants and pubs, because that may be a bit of a shock for you when you come to Prague. Yes, quite often it is rude and not polite at all. That's also a huge difference for us when we go to US, and a waitress will come to our table and she will introduce herself and she will smile and she will maybe recommend something from the menu. That would never happen here.
You're also working for a tip,
Don't
though,
get me
right?
wrong. Service is getting better. But if you go to like a local place, a dive bar, which I would consider this place to be, quite often they'd be grumpy, and it takes a long time for them to get to know you. And after maybe a 20th visit, they will share a little smile with you. Not like in US. First time visitor, oh, I love coming you to our restaurant. My name is Wendy. Can I take your order?
They're working for the tip, I'm telling you.
Speaking of Wendy, when I was first called darling or honey in a restaurant in US, I was like, she really loves me. She just called me darling.
She wants your money.
I like that. I mean, I like the bartender here, but he never calls me darling. Let's make it stay that way, okay? We're tough guys. Even though the two of us consider the service at places in the United States very good and very nice and very polite, there is one thing that we consider to be very rude. And that is, you're finishing your meal, or maybe you're halfway through, and suddenly a bill lands on your table. What is that? Are you kicking me out? That would never happen here. Any business, restaurant, pub, coffee place tries to keep you in the place as long as possible. You're done with your meal, they'll offer you a dessert. You're done with your dessert, they will offer you coffee. You're done with your coffee, maybe you want to start over and have another appetizer. In other words, they want to keep you in as long as possible. You have to ask for the bill. In US, very often, you're halfway through, here's your bill. I'm like, well, maybe I want another something. No, the bill is already on the table. Just weird. Speaking of the bill.
So what I'll say on that one is, a lot of times, at least more recently when I've gone out, they always ask, anything else, or would you like the check? And it's always, no, thanks, we'll take the check. I don't remember the last time they've actually come up and just give us the bill. I feel like it's been over like at least 5 years since that's happened. Especially nowadays, since, you know, they started getting these things where it's on your table already, and then you just bring up the check whenever you want. Now it's like a little touchscreen thing. It has little games on it for if you have little kids. Obviously, I wouldn't expect that at like a dive bar or at a smaller restaurant or something like that. But like, I don't know. I just feel like a lot of the times they seem to ask if you're done and if you want the bill, you know? And also, like, because then they can move on to a new customer, in which can, you know, restart everything over again, especially if you're trying to burn through as many people as you can, get as many tips as you can, so that your paycheck looks better.
Let's dive into tipping, and that
Yep.
can create some big issues because that's a big cultural difference. In US, quite often we get asked, do you want to tip 15, 18, 20, 25%? Which for us is like,
Who
whoa,
asks?
that's a lot. A quarter of the bill just tips because it's a tip-based country or tip-based business. In Czech, that used to be very, very different. I mean, my dad would only round up the bill to the next higher number. If the bill was 99, he would round it up to 100. I believe most of our dads and mothers still do that. Nowadays, it's changing even here, and tipping goes from 10% higher if you're satisfied with the service. If the service is really bad, some people will simply not tip. If that would happen in the US, that you would not leave a single cent on a tip, I've experienced people running out the restaurant and be like, what happened? What did we do wrong? Like, why did you not tip? So tipping is very, very different, and I'm curious what you will say about that in the comments.
Because they're desperate for the money.
Whatever country you're from, I want to read what's the average tipping in your country.
Like I said before, it's not like they can make a living wage off of what they're doing alone, which is sad. But a lot of times people live off of tips. That's why I'm sure you could look up a bunch of different videos of people tipping and like a ridiculously crazy amount, like a couple $100s for tips. And literally the waiters or waitresses break down crying because it's going to help them so much because they don't make nearly enough on just the paycheck alone, which is sad, and it's just ridiculous.
Now, this cultural difference is not only huge, but I consider it to be evil, and that is packaging and garbage in general. I'm not talking about if you go to a place where it's a takeout or you go to a fast food. Yes, they put it in a paper bag, either if you're in US or here. But I'm talking about if you go to a restaurant and they create so much garbage, so much waste, even though you're at a restaurant. Quick example. Mostly if you get a drink at a bar in the US, they put a napkin under it, so it soaks the moist that's running under it. Well, that's for one use only. Afterwards, they will throw away the napkin. How about they use coasters? Because you can reuse the coaster. And that's
Makes
just
sense.
one very simple example. Another one is if you order a ketchup at this place, they will bring it either a bottle, some places in US do that too, or they put it in a ceramic cup that they clean afterwards. Not that they grab 20 ketchups and throw them next to your burger. Or even in McDonald's in Czech Republic, you pay for every single tiny packaging of any sauce, any ketchup. So you think about if you want one or two. In US, yeah, can I get some ketchup? Here you go, here's 1,000,000 ketchups in tiny little bags. No, don't do that. I mean, you guys are going all Michael Bay packaging. Like, hey, yeah, that's a plastic bag. Let's put it in a paper bag and let's put more packaging and pack it up. You want it to go? Yeah, let's pack it up more. Meanwhile, in Europe, yeah, let's get rid of plastic straws. They really destroy the universe. There's going to be one hell of a discussion under this video. I absolutely love you guys from US, and I love going to US, just so you know. We both do. Please don't cancel my ESTA.
Okay, so on the plastic straws, I'll just mention the plastic straws because I thought I heard somewhere that everyone was starting to, or everyone's being forced, at least here in California, is being forced into either, whether it's cardboard or paper straws or whatever, so that it can, you know, biodegradable and everything. I think I've only really seen that happen in one spot. Like, I thought I heard this about years ago, like before the pandemic. And I don't even remember what that restaurant was. I don't even know if it was fast food or not. But I think there's only one place that I remember ever going to that actually had not plastic, but paper/cardboard straws. Which it sucks because I feel somewhat bad because, like, for someone that has really, really, really sensitive teeth, like, I feel like a lot of the times I really need a straw. And because, like, as long as I could remember, like, just it hurts my teeth just drinking regularly. I mean, I think I've somewhat learned how to do it, so, like, it's not too bad, but, like, it's just, I feel like I always need a straw. And it kind of sucks knowing that, oh, I'm getting a plastic one. Cool.
Drop the beer for a minute and let's talk about coffee and coffee culture differences between USA and Europe. Triggered already? Well, you'll get triggered more.
I don't drink coffee,
Europe,
so not triggered at all.
Consider this to be a cup of coffee. That's a gallon of coffee. If it's more than a gallon, it's not coffee. This is a cup of coffee. By the way, shocker, they have a cup of coffee in this pub. It's served in a ceramic cup. It's this size. You have a plate under it. It makes that little noise when you put it down.
So you can't take it with you.
Get a spoon with it, so you can mix your little espresso. And this is how you drink it. Not a gallon. Doesn't fit in your car, so
we
you can
like
drive
it on
and
the
sip on your
go.
little coffee soup throughout the day. Big difference, big shocker for us when we go to places in US and they simply don't serve something like this. Now, hold your horses. I know that coffee culture in US is changing depending on which state you live in, if you live in a city and so on, but still mostly people think this is coffee and you cannot get this. It's sad for us Europeans. Can I get a cup of coffee? You want venti grande, grande XL, grande XXXXL? Like the Italians drink it? Whoa. Now this next cultural...
Okay, sorry I'm pausing it a lot, but so the other thing, so my teacher, when I was in high school, she went to Italy for a little while, and one of the things I remember she told me is the craziness between Italian food Americanized and actual Italian food from Italy, where it was like, here in the US, it's like they come up with like all these different like sauces, or like, the way it's just done super differently. But when in Italy, I mean, I don't know how to fully explain it, but like it's like it was just completely different. Like the food was just not the same way in Italy as it is here in the US. The Italian, quote unquote Italian food here in the US compared to straight from Italy type of Italian food. She just thought it was kind of weird, which I thought was kind of funny. Let me know if that's actually true or if it's somewhat the same.
Difference may sound weird, but I believe it should be addressed. And that is restrooms and toilet sizes in restaurants and pubs. And I'm not talking about the actual seat size, but I'm talking about you have a big pub and there's one toilet. There's like one restroom for the entire pub where there's
maybe
like hundreds of people. And the stalls where you can like sit to do number two are very like see-through. Like there's no privacy. Like there's no door at the bottom. Like if somebody peeks, they can see you.
Yeah, no, I think I've seen that.
And girls talk about that a lot. Both our girls talk about it, how like it's kind of weird that people
where
really
it goes all the way
see.
down.
So that's a big difference. If there's a big pub here, it has many restrooms, many toilets.
That makes sense, but
and
like
it can, you know, do the business people need and accommodate many people at the same time.
I don't understand why we do this either,
Of course,
though.
the ones we mentioned are not the only cultural differences between our continents. There's many more. We can talk about different units. We can talk about different forms of transportation, how we move around cities and countries, how big are our cars and your cars, and many more topics. So let us know in the comments if you want us to cover more topics. And while you're there, please don't be mad at us. This was not made to insult you, only to give you perspectives on our culture habits and your cultural habits that we experience when we go over to your lovely continent that we love to visit. But sometimes we're just like, huh, that's weird. We're the honest dudes from Prague. That dude's name is Honza. My name is Janek. We go by The Honest Guide, our channel full of content. So if you're planning to come to Prague,
that looks really nice.
Check out our videos. We do scams, we show you beers, we show you restaurants, coffee places, and cultural differences. I'll see you next week, Sunday.
Okay, I quite enjoyed that. So obviously he did pretty much US compared to like Prague for the most part, Czech Republic, which I'm totally down for because I've always wanted to visit Czech Republic. Granted, that's not saying a lot because I want to visit pretty much as many countries as I'm allowed to. I honestly think that would be really cool. One of my big ones that I've been wanting to visit is Australia, New Zealand, and then more recently that I've been really wanting to visit South Africa. I think that, you know, learning some of these ahead of time is definitely helpful, and I think it's really kind of cool, just so I'm not completely culture shocked. I did go to England, Ireland, and Wales when I was 15, so I do have a little bit of experience traveling abroad, and that was a lot of fun. The only issue was that we were on a very tight schedule, and I wanted to stay an extra day at a certain place. I forget what place. It was at a castle. Because Queen was going to play there the day that we were leaving. And we were leaving early in the morning. And I was pissed. And I wanted to stay. And they're like, no, we gotta go. Granted, I mean, it's Queen without Freddie Mercury. But, like, it's still Queen. Right? And John Deacon. So it's half a Queen. Which still, that's still better than not ever seeing them live. You know? So it's like, I could have experienced England, Ireland, and Wales properly, and I could have seen a really cool concert. Like, it's part of Queen. I was so annoyed. It was with a group, but I did get to go without my parents, which made it a lot more fun. Also a bit more nerve-wracking because I was kind of confused with some of the things, and anyways, that was a whole different thing. But thanks for watching. Let me know what else I should react to, what other cultural differences, and what other type of USA compared to other countries type of guides and whatnot I should react to. I'm always down to learn more about different cultures and whatnot in different countries, and I'm all about learning, especially more so now because I'm more open to it than I was before. I don't know why. I feel like I'm just more open to it now. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe for more content just like this. And I will see you guys next time.